It was no more than 3 hands into the game that Jaqk suspected that he was being cheated. He had played enough 6-card stud in his time to know by the players' faces what their eyes were telling him. He went along with it for another 2 hands to make certain, watching as he folded with 5 knaves, the expression on the dealer's face. He was a stocky man, with tattoos that ran the length of both arms. His cigar of native blue tobacco mingled with the other exotic smokes in the poorly lit underground room. All of the players had to surrender their sidearms, and these were placed carefully on a rack at the black marble bark door. Jaqk was only allowed to retain his ivory-handle Sentra Bowie knife, and this was a great relief as it was his only friend in the crowded illegal gambling den. It was an anomaly in Jaqk law that gambling was illegal. Narcotics, prostitution, and even justifiable murder were not looked down upon as the simple act of playing cards. Jaqk had met one of the men he now played while he was appropriating parts for the devil. All 5 of them talked and chuckled as the final hand was dealt. Jaqk waited for his cards to hit the table and his opponents to draw theirs up. With a distraction, Jaqk thought, "They will not see my move until it is too late." There was nothing the dealer could do about Jaqk's opening move. In one swift action, he clambered over the top of the blood-stained table and thrust his diamond blade deeply into his larynx. The bouncers at the sides of the room, adorned in relatively neat-looking Kevlar armor, drew their pistols from their holsters and began targeting the elderly ex-bounty hunter. Jaqk did not hesitate. He flung the dying, greasy-haired dealer to one side and dived to the hard, deep brown, irregularly tiled flooring. There was a muffled scream as one of the players from Jaqk's table was struck by a 3-round burst from one of the auto pistols. The bouncers in the club did not usually have to use their weapons. Normally, the threat was enough. Taking his best aim at the nearest of the security men, Jaqk threw his heavy knife end over end at his face. It was not the most perfectly weighted weapon in existence, but Jaqk had taken the time to alter it significantly from its original form. It struck the right-hand side of the bouncer's armor, and he crumpled to his knees, trying in vain to remove the blade from his chest, cutting his gloved hand on the incredibly sharp edge. The patrons of the Platinum Sands were in an uproar. Tables were being upturned and shouts were echoing in the contained space. Jaqk knew that in the confusion he could slip away, but he needed his shotgun pistols. Not only were they very dear to him, but they had given him the upper hand in many ballistic engagements in the past. Illumination was the key thought that Jaqk had at that time, must kill the lights. 3-round burst after 3-round burst was shearing fragments of the walls and furniture around Jaqk's frantically moving form. He managed to make it to the bouncer whose chest held the answer to Jaqk's problem. He reefed the Sentra Bowie from its snug fit between the man's blood-washed ribs and threw it at what he knew was a fuse box. In the darkness, only the strong survive. 7 minutes later, Jaqk emerged from the Platinum Sands, wounded and weary, but with his favorite weapons and some spending money. Are all Jaqk scum? He thought to himself as he wandered back out to the devil.